Concealed carry is a tricky thing. The internet's full of a lot of good information and bad information. We have 4 tips for you today that we think is going to make the biggest impact in your carry. So right now, I'm actually carrying 20 rounds on me, fully concealed, and some days I will actually carry this. All right, so tip number 1, you have to have a good holster. So this is a T-Rex Arm sidecar. There are a lot of other brands similar to this, but we recommend having a holster with multiple clips on it, along with a side claw. If you only have one clip like this is like a cheap Amazon, whatever holster, the pistol's gonna rock back and forth a lot, and then this grip is gonna tend to wanna stick out under your shirt. So another piece of equipment you need is a good belt. You need something that's rigid and solid. They make specific belts for EDC, for carrying a pistol on you. Highly recommend. I've tried leather belts. They bend, they flex too much. So you have to have something like this. Pro tip, not that we're pros, we're average guys, but wear your buckle to the side. A lot of people want to wear the buckle in the front like a traditional belt, but if you do that, what happens is you stack your pistol, your holster, and then the buckle, and then you have something protruding out from you about 5 inches for some of you guys. Rotate it to the side, that way you have a nice, clean, slick surface to work with up front on your belt, and you're not layering things as thick. Tip number 2, ride height matters. So going back to point number 1, a good holster really matters. You need to be able to adjust it. A lot of cheap holsters don't allow you to do this. This holster does. So there's kind of 2 things you need to remember here. The higher your pistol sits in relation to your belt, meaning like your grips up here, it's gonna be more comfortable and easier to get out and to draw, but it's also going to print a lot more. The lower your pistol sits in relation to your belt, it's gonna be way more concealable. So I'm able to conceal a full-size pistol with extended mag because it sits low to my belt line and I'm not sticking way out. Keep that in mind as you're playing with your adjustments and your ride height. Tip number 3, textures and shapes matter. Yes, guys, all shapes matter, all right? So something to consider is the texture of your pistol grip. Every pistol is gonna be different. You might have grip tape, you might have stippling. You need to consider this when carrying. Certain shirts and fabrics can get caught on different textures. I've ran into this. What I do on my carry pistol is I put some goon tape on the grip to help soften it up a bit so it doesn't get caught on my shirt. Something else to consider is the shape of your mag. So generally, if you're gonna print, it's gonna be your mag or your grip sticking out. So what I've learned is that if you can get a mag extension that has a round edge on it versus a sharp edge, sometimes that can help. Obviously, this is gonna depend on your body type, how big of a gun you're carrying, what kind of clothes you wear, but something to consider. Number 4, size does matter. What I mean by this is everyone talks about carrying a smaller pistol. When they're concealed carrying, they're worried about, oh, it's gonna print, it's gonna be so big. A bigger pistol sometimes is more comfortable and easier to conceal. And what I mean by that is that if you're carrying appendix, and your gun is here, you're bending over, if you have a small gun, that is actually, all that pressure is going into a smaller space, meaning it's gonna make it more comfortable and almost like a spear stabbing you in the gut. If you have a bigger pistol, you're spreading that pressure out. And so if you bend over, if you're in a weird position getting in the car, you're now taking that same amount of pressure and you're spreading it out, in return making it a little bit more comfortable. So this is a big misconception that a lot of people have. I've experimented with carrying subcompacts, compacts, full size. I tend to carry a compact pistol as I think that's a happy medium. Don't just go for the smallest pistol. At the end of the day, if you have to draw your weapon to defend your life or someone else's life around you, you want the most capable gun. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna argue 99.9% of you is gonna shoot better with a full-size gun or a compact gun versus a subcompact. I know I hate shooting small guns, maybe I need to train more, but if I have to get in a gunfight, I'm gonna take this all day. At the end of the day, you're gonna have to experiment for what works for you. What works for me may not translate to you. It depends on your body type, what you wear, what kind of gun you carry. If you're in an office, if you're on a construction site, whatever it might be. So experiment, let us know what you think. We always love to hear from you beautiful people. Also, learn how to put a freaking holster in your belt. We'll get it. Anyways, Subscribe below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time. I'm a little cold. I'm done. I'm gonna leave now. Bye. See ya.